Dell PowerStore Prime is a next-gen storage platform offering top performance, advanced connectivity, and enterprise-grade security. According to Fortune Business Insights, the AI-powered storage market is projected to reach approximately $111 billion by 2030, highlighting the high demand for such innovations. Joining me to discuss PowerStore Prime and its significance in this valuable market is Jodey Hogeland from Dell Technologies. Welcome, Jodey.
Hey, thanks for having me, Karen. Good to be here.
To start, Jodey, what are the key market trends driving the demand for advanced storage solutions like PowerStore Prime?
Yeah, there's a lot happening in the industry right now. You've got customers that are looking to consolidate infrastructure, to have something that's very concise, that can do a lot of different things. So think of the Swiss Army knife type of analogy, so to speak. And that's where PowerStore is meeting a lot of the demand, is the ability to have a unified platform or architecture that can support varying types of workloads, whether it's file-based ecosystems that are very transactional, things like VMware over NFS comes to mind, or customers running Oracle DFS and having network connectivity that way. Of course, your traditional fiber channel infrastructure and block infrastructure that needs to be very high performant, low latency, and very secure. But also these next generation workloads that are coming into the picture, container-based workloads, a lot of customers spinning up infrastructure to support AI-based applications. And what does that look like? And so PowerStore brings an architecture to the table that enables customers to be very diverse with their implementation methodology and supporting a lot of different workloads in a lot of different ways.
Obviously, there is a need for this type of storage. How does PowerStore Prime differentiate itself from competitors in the storage market?
There's a few things when we talk about PowerStore specifically that are very differentiated from a market perspective and opportunity. And as partners specifically look at the solution and realize that we're talking about a 2 rack unit base enclosure, right? So there's other technologies out there that might be 3 rack units, in some cases even larger than that. So space, in the data center comes at a premium nowadays. So being able to have upwards of, say, over 1 petabyte of effective capacity in a 2 rack unit form factor, that speaks to a lot of people. So being able to start small with as few as 6 drives inside of the architecture with just a handful of terabytes. And then one of the key differentiators is single drive scalability. So money's on everybody's mind. How much are customers going to have to spend to scale architecture and infrastructure? And when you come at a customer and say, hey, you need to buy 10 drives to expand this, or you come and say you could do it with just 1 drive, right? That's where PowerStore really begins to differentiate itself, is that single drive scalability, starting small, growing extremely large, but also not just in the capacity growth, but in the context of the technology at large and managing it. So PowerStore supports clustering capabilities and technology. So customers in their data center can take multiple PowerStore appliances or arrays and manage them as a single entity, meaning that it's easier for managing the infrastructure. It's more simplistic, but it also gives customers capabilities like dynamic mobility, being able to take workloads that might be running in one place that maybe didn't require as much performance, and seamlessly or non-disruptively moving that workload to a higher performance appliance in the cluster. So starting small, expanding large, expanding, within the concepts of a cluster. And then, as I mentioned earlier, being able to support, that unified design of different connectivity methodologies, different architectures. And then everybody's concerned about security, right? Everybody's really honed in on, well, what about things like ransomware? What about things like zero trust frameworks? And really, that's where PowerStore has kind of pioneered itself in this landscape from a security framework and in zero trust architectures, with Dell Technologies leading the way, pioneering this capability in 2017 with PowerEdge Server. And now there is no other technology on the planet other than Dell Technologies that has hardware level root of trust to embed that into the ecosystem, to guarantee that customers can't be backdoored or manipulated or have some type of rootkit installed in their infrastructure. So I think consolidating those thoughts, when you look at being able to start small, very cost effectively, being able to scale extremely large, extremely performant with tons and tons of capacity that's very secure, that's very flexible and very dynamic. I think those are things that really set itself apart from the competitive landscape in the industry.
How does Dell's partner first strategy benefit customers using PowerStore Prime?
Within the partner ecosystem, Dell Technologies understands that partners have the ability to bring an asset to the environment or to the customer that Dell Technologies necessarily as a vendor might not be able to fully encapsulate. And that is the very unique relationship and diverse landscape of capabilities and resources. The partner community brings very strategic expertise across a landscape of whether it's infrastructure deployment and configuration methodologies or application integration and application tuning and specifics or next generation future facing capabilities with application integration. So, one of the aspects of the partner first strategy is not just, hey, let partners move paper, but also partners bring a unique perspective, a unique skill set, and a wide variety of skill sets that can help customers meet these ever changing, flexible, demanding challenges that they're facing every day.
Obviously, AI is a hot topic. How does Dell's platform support AI workloads and enhance AI driven applications?
Yeah, as you know, Michael Dell, Jeff Clark have they're publicly on stage just about every day. I think talking about artificial intelligence and Dell leading the charge with AI infrastructure and capabilities. We've rolled out some technologies that no one else in the world has actually been able to do yet. So we are leading the way with AI based infrastructure with our compute platforms and networking integration. And specifically when it comes to storage, we have a large focus around what's happening with these large bandwidth, looking at large AI models with our PowerScale platform. But I think what's interesting, and this year, so our senior vice president of specialty sales, Kyle Lejeski, he and I were just at a partner event together, and we were speaking together. And one of the things that we talked about is specifically the focus on this is the year, so calendar year 2025 is really the year for enterprise AI. Now, what does that mean? It means that we really think from a Dell Technologies lens that AI is going to come out of these large scale service providers and it's going to come down and meet individual customers within the context of their data center. So I think this calendar year, we're going to start to see a very fast paced ramp of smaller entities, smaller customers that are looking for ways to deploy AI based infrastructure and ecosystems. Now, when it comes to PowerStore, because again, you can start very small and grow very big, it is a very flexible, targeted platform to look at some of these high performance or block based integrated AI applications. And so that's where we think there's going to be a lot of momentum this calendar year as customers expanding the horizon of how AI is used inside of customer deployment methodologies, inside of customer infrastructure and ecosystems. Just for example, I was traveling a couple of weeks ago and was at a small university in South Texas. And they, in just an open conversation, they come out and said, oh, yeah, we bought a Dell server to run some AI analytics and platform manipulations on. It was actually a software vendor that they were using that recommended that they do this. So this wasn't, a big vendor like a Dell Technologies coming and say, oh, you need to boost your AI capability. This was software vendors saying, hey, we could bring a lot more value if you had infrastructure that was AI capable and AI enabled, or the ability to drive that AI based infrastructure. And so here's a smaller university that's already making those investments. And I think that proves the point of calendar year 25 being the year where a lot of this growth happens. And PowerStore can be a really good go to target backend storage platform to meet a lot of those diverse needs.
What specific features of PowerStore Prime are designed to optimize performance for AI and machine learning?
When it comes to performance within PowerStore, number one, it is an end-to-end all NVMe ecosystem or NVMe architecture. So it's literally designed from the get-go to be extremely high performant and low latency. That's great. But build on that and talk about what's happening with these AI-based connectivity methodologies, specifically high performance Ethernet. we've really been a leader in focusing on and working in the realm of NVMe TCP, or just really simple IP-based connectivity using standard Ethernet switches and delivering customers capabilities with things like 25 gig and 100 gig Ethernet, but using low latency protocols like NVMe TCP. So that's a big factor of driving that performance from the host all the way through the network of the fabric, all the way down to the storage array. Now, there's some other technologies as well built in. Like we were, to my knowledge, one of the first on the planet to fully integrate Intel's Quick Assist technology chip. Now, what that is everybody, every storage array, every vendor, they're running processors that are doing everything the array needs to do on a daily basis. However, we have an extra, right? So we actually have an extra chip embedded called Intel QAT, or Quick Assist technology. So think of it as like a third chip on each of the nodes that then offloads the high demand that's required for compression. So when we're talking about data services like deduplication, compression, things that make all flash technologies more affordable by reducing the overall footprint of the data, we actually offload that to its own chipset. And that's somewhat unique in the industry. Other folks are trying to figure out how to do it. Other vendors are doing it from an external methodology or some afterthought baked in card that you might plug in. But this was a primary focus point of the design of PowerStore. So it's fully integrated. It's in every single model we offer. You don't have to, well, I only get that in this one. From baby PowerStore to big PowerStore, you get it. You get this capability. So I think just looking at how PowerStore is designed uniquely from the ground up to be focused on performance, to be focused on minimizing latency, to not worry about the data services aspect where customers have to make all these manual decisions. Well, do I turn it on? Do I turn it off? Do I put it here? Do I put it there? You don't make any of those decisions with PowerStore. And we've even taken it to the next level. PowerStore is an active architecture, meaning both of the nodes or the storage controllers are working simultaneously together. And we have brought to market this capability of what I like to call autonomous active, meaning that you get the benefits without the headache. Right? You don't have to manage anything. We have this capability called DNA, or dynamic node affinity, which will analyze the system on the back end and make any necessary adjustments to the pathing, meaning that the customer can worry about their day job, right? Without having to worry about managing storage all day long. And I think, in the partner community and ecosystem, they see this every day where customers are saying, I've got to figure out, how do I do more with less? I have less resources, less people. I've got to drive efficiency. And so when you look at end-to-end performance, capability, scalability, and all we've put in, I think that's where you start to see the performance delivery come into play.
How does PowerStore Prime help customers achieve cost savings and improve ROI?
We were just talking about simplified management, right? I've actually had customers that I've met with and walked through. We have some conversations. Sometimes we just spontaneously pull up the interface for customers. Say, hey, how does that work? Let me see that in action. And they're literally surprised that within 10 minutes, we've kind of exhausted the interface, right? They just look at it and go, okay, well, this is very simple. And in fact, there's been a lot of public awards that PowerStore has been granted because of the simplicity and ease of use. So when it comes to customers, making those decisions and garnering benefits, I think that's a key aspect of it: the simplicity, ease of use, and not having to worry about extensive levels of management detail, training, spending resources and valuable time doing that. So it's just really simple to do. On top of that is, that two rack unit framework we talked about, coupled with the data services always on and enabled. So deduplication, compression, every single piece of data that is coming into that array is being reduced and parked in a single storage pool or resource pool. Meaning, again, the customer doesn't have to manage multiple pools. So it's crazy simple. The customer also, regardless if they're connecting with block data or file data, is irrelevant. It's all going to get reduced and all going to get minimized, right? So customers being able to see what Dell Technologies promotes and stands behind: a 5-to-1 data reduction guarantee. If the data is reducible, we are going to reduce it, and we are going to reduce it very well, meaning that you pay less, right? So You get the simplicity framework, you get all of those data services enabled, and as I mentioned, hardware assisted with Intel QAT. So there's no penalty, there's no performance hit to the customer to be able to do that. And then wrapping that up holistically with a security framework that customers can have a peace of mind that PowerStore is a technology that's listed on the United States Department of Defense approved product list. It's one of two, by the way. I won't advertise anybody else, but I'll tell you, there's not many people who make that level of validation and certification. And PowerStore is one of the technologies that is working and operating in some of the most mission critical and secure ecosystems on the planet. So, customers' investment, whether it's simplicity, whether it's performance, scalability, security frameworks, and peace of mind, that all comes together to kind of deliver this to the customer. And when you look at it from an ROI perspective, if I don't have to spend a lot of money on people, if I don't have to spend as much on the storage, if I can get more out of it and make it go longer, if I don't have to worry about wrapping security framework around all of this stuff because you're doing a lot of this stuff internally for me, that drives ROI.
What financial incentives or flexible payment options does Dell offer to make the solution more accessible?
Dell Technologies offers a lot of capabilities with Apex. Apex being our offering that allows customers flexible methodologies of consumption, whether that be kind of the utility model, pay by the drip, whether that be on demand, where like, hey, we want to pay a certain amount for a certain amount. And if we need to grow or be more dynamic or scalable, we can add to it from there. So there's a lot of different financial options available through Dell Financial Services, as well as Apex Scalability. And our partners, by the way, are fully glued into that ecosystem and have the ability to leverage the Dell financial teams to help figure out what's best for the customer and bring the right solution to them, whether that is on demand or Apex as a service, whatever consumption model the customer might be looking for. I don't think there's too many things that we can't help the customer achieve there.
How do its zero trust architecture and hardware root of trust enhance overall security for enterprise IT environments?
Yeah, that hardware root of trust I've brought up a couple of times in the conversation, Kenna, and if you think about it, people are really concerned when it comes to ransomware. That is that an unauthorized user has garnered access to the infrastructure. And now they're snooping around, sneaking around, trying to create backdoors or, they're eventually going to get discovered. So they want to try to set up a framework that if they ever are discovered, that they can lead themselves some type of backdoor access to continue to keep the door open for that malicious activity. Well, hardware root of trust is something that we focused on originally, again, in 2017 with PowerEdge Server that has now made its way into PowerStore. It gives customers the framework and the peace of mind that any code that gets loaded on that array has to be from digitally signed, trusted Dell Technologies support. We do not allow, in the context of the PowerStore operating environment and firmware ecosystem, for anything to be loaded that is not digitally signed from Dell Engineering and downloaded from the support site. So no one can, if they were to garner unauthorized access, they can't go in, manipulate, and create that backdoor, which sets up that zero trust framework foundation to say, hey, we start by locking everybody out. Nobody can do anything unless it's, Dell Technologies from a software perspective, bringing that digitally signed instance, and it literally joins itself with the Intel chipset. So this is, I know there's one player in the industry that does a software level root of trust. There's many other vendors that have no level of root of trust integration, but it's only Dell Technologies that's bringing a hardware root of trust. And that's that digitally signed instance joining itself to the Intel chipset, creating this secure boot framework that allows a malicious actor to never be able to manipulate that software on the back end.
What advanced connectivity options does this platform offer to ensure seamless integration with existing IT infrastructure?
There's a lot of customers that are using traditional fiber channel, whether that's 8 gig, 32 gig, 16 gig, and all of those are fully supported. So customers that are in the fiber channel framework or family, we continue to invest there, continue to support there, and we have Tons and tons of customers on PowerStore running fiber channel-based ecosystems today. But one of the interesting things is what's happening in the file-based infrastructure and file ecosystems. So PowerStore is unified, so it can support customers' file-based ecosystems, NFS, SMB, user home directories, even transactional NAS, VMware NFS, Oracle DFS, etc. But I think from a trending perspective, what we're seeing in the industry and what third party analyst firms are looking at and tracking is what's going on with these new block based protocols like NVMe TCP. NVMe TCP allows customers to, for example, we published a white paper on this, publicly available. Shameless plug for my LinkedIn profile, but all of my blog posts and articles are out there. But I did write one on this integration and capability, and there's a white paper there that shows you all of the protocol connectivity measured in a chart, so you can see them side by side. And NVMe TCP is projected to start to be the dominant connectivity methodology over the next couple of years. The reason for that is because you can actually, the customer can actually drive more performance at a lower cost. In some cases, so think for 100 gig connectivity, you could be talking about upwards of 70% faster than the current fiber channel fabrics, but delivering a cost that's 50+% lower cost per port. 25 gig Ethernet is on par with 32 gig fiber channel performance with NVMe TCP, but you're 70+% lower cost per port. And PowerStore can support all of these connectivity options simultaneously. So customers don't have to make a cutover day one dead drop decision of, which one do I need to do? They can start with what they're doing today and in real time, turn this on, kick the tires, sample it, and say, you know what? Yeah, that's what we want to do, and start to make that transition. So I think PowerStore sets itself up with that unified deployment methodology and architecture to allow customers to really do what they've been doing, do what they want to do, and be protected for what they might be doing tomorrow.
How does PowerStore Prime enhance data transfer speeds and reduce latency for critical applications?
Earlier in our conversation, I mentioned that being designed from the ground up using NVMe protocol. So that's a key part of it, is leveraging modern technology that drives down application latency or response times. And PowerStore from end to end has been designed and architected to take advantage of that and to deliver the most performance to the end user's applications and environments. And then even some of the things with those next generation protocols and connectivity options like NVMe TCP to the host, those things are growing. We're seeing in the Linux space, customers are already doing this. VMware ESXi was actually a pioneer in this industry. We were co-design partners with VMware around NVMe TCP. Those things are growing, and word on the street and rumblings are Microsoft is committed that this calendar year that they're going to deliver native NVMe to the host for bare metal Windows environments as well. So I think it's just recognizing these next generation protocols and connectivity methodologies like NVMe Fabrics, NVMe TCP specifically, but driving down latency from the storage to the host. And that's exactly what PowerStore does.
What resources and support do Dell provide to ensure a successful implementation and customer satisfaction?
Dell Technologies obviously has a very broad services arm and services organization with a lot of capabilities, whether it's fine tuning applications, deployment services and options, doing assessments, whether it's virtual assessments, physical assessments, application assessments, cloud based assessments. There's a very broad services arm within Dell Technologies. But I think also going back to the partner first and partner conversation, leveraging the partner community and the level of expertise that they have with their services organization and services arm, enabling our ecosystem, technologies, and capabilities to benefit the resources and very, very smart expertise that the partner community can bring to the table. Those things coming together and all working side by side brings tremendous value to the customer.
Jodey, you shared a lot of great information. Where can we learn more about PowerStore Prime?
Of course, go to Dell Technologies and check out PowerStore, but particularly there's a lot of information on the partner portal. So jumping directly out to the partner portal for all of our partners, you're going to see that direct access to the storage environments and then drill down into PowerStore. There may even actually be some videos that I've done that are out there walking you through and walking customers through capabilities and unique aspects. But definitely lean into the partner community, your partner representatives, the technical advisors and partner technical representation that we have can make sure that you get all the right information.
Jodey, thank you so much for being here today. I definitely learned a lot about PowerStore Prime.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
And for everyone watching, thank you for tuning in. For the channel company, I'm Kenna Johnson.